This is Rob Turbot for Boxing Social in association with Betfred. It's been a while, but I'm joined here today by the White Rhino, Dave Allen. How are you, Dave?
Good, thank you, mate. Yeah.
Nice to know that you still remember to speak like a fool straight into the microphone like that. Thanks.
You're welcome, yeah.
So it's been a while, David. How are you? How's 2020 treating you?
Yeah, really good.
Get off the microphone. You can do it with Andy and Ryan, but not with me.
I'm going to a tangent.
Get off the microphone.
So basically what happened is this. No, 2020 has been it's been a weird one, you know. I started the year, January 1st, I started as a boxing trainer. I just took on my first professional, the Scottish heavyweight Jay McFarlane. I had Danny, I had Liam, I had a few other kids as well. And I still wasn't actually boxing. I was unmedicaled. I wasn't actually scheduled to be on the Sheffield show for definite, so I was just a boxing coach. I then had the fight in Sheffield, won the fight. Jay had 2 fights, won them both. I'm unbeaten as a professional boxing coach. I'm not sure if you knew that. 2 I know. And then Danny and Liam was very busy with their amateur boxing. I was cornering them. I was really enjoying it. And I was waiting. I was going to box May 2nd, Whyte-Povetkin, original card, or Usyk, May 23rd. Eddie promised me a big fight on one of them, so I was just getting ready for that. And then obviously what's happened has happened. Pandemic. Is it pandemic? Pandemic. So that just threw everything off kilter. And for me personally, I'm glad it did, because I would have boxed May 2nd, May 23rd. Who I would have boxed, I'm not sure. It would have been someone, even a world-class heavyweight from abroad that we know of, but like a Hrgovic. I wouldn't have been fit. I'd have got beat, and it would have been the end of me. So instead of that, I used lockdown period to get fit. I joined MTK. I joined up with Jamie Moore, and now I'm just waiting. I'm waiting to see what happens. Obviously it's not ideal, one fight in 13 months, but it is what it is, and we're just waiting to see what happens now. I train Danny and Liam still. Danny's with me. I train Danny, but he comes over to Jamie Moore's as well. He's with MTK. Liam has had lots of amateur fights now. He's also an aspiring young rapper. So, I've got my fingers in all sorts of pies.
He's actually quite good. If people are watching this and you're a grime fan or a rap fan, check him out. I'm not sure where. Where do you check Liam's music out?
I don't know.
Your Instagram story is where I did. But anyway, back to you. You mentioned only boxing once in 13 months. Obviously, the last time we saw you in the ring was against David Price. Fair to say that didn't really go to plan. Has it allowed you to shake the cobwebs a little bit? Obviously, being a heavyweight, the sparring, the miles on the clock that you accrue as an active heavyweight, one fight in 13 months, you all on the mend now?
Yeah, I watched Price, and I had a few issues going into the fight. A few medical issues, a few different issues, and after the fight, I had lots of time off. I didn't really do much, to be honest. I just took up the coaching full time. I was just training these full time, like a full time job. These were the best trained amateurs in the world. They were training twice a day. It was mental. Everyone was out. Danny was literally doing 3 hours a day training. You know what I mean? He was living it, and he won his Yorkshire title. The greatest day of our lives, would you say? Definitely. Honestly, we were better than Brown and were put together. So that's all I was doing, and I've sparred in the last 13 months, but I've sparred people around not decent fighters, but not great fighters. And I've just been handing some beatings out. You know what I mean? So I've not been hit properly for 13 months, and I think I'm speaking a lot better. I think I'm a lot more clear-minded. I feel good. I've not been getting hit. I've not been. I think I've changed. I'd like to say my life's a lot different now. I'm a different person. I'd like to think. The last 13 months have been very kind to me. Obviously, I had the issue with the concussions on my spine from the Price fight. That's all clear now. My medicals was all good, and it was tough. It was a tough time after the Price fight. It was a very sad time. It was hard. So it's made me. I'm just very thankful that I'm still able to box, because there was a long period of time in my life where I thought I wasn't going to get to fight again. So everything from here on is a bonus. You know, I spoke to my dad the other day. We was training, and he just said, he looked at me and said, he said, now you're training properly. Like, me and my dad only get on when I train properly. If I'm not training properly, he's not my mate. But he just said, you can be one of the best heavyweights in the world. Everyone's always said it to me, David, you need to train hard. And I said, yeah, we're training hard now. He said, your career so far, you've never trained. And I said, I've headlined the O2. I've been on 10 pay-per-view shows. I've beat some really good fighters. Yeah, I've lost a few. I said, but I've worked at about 20%. I said, so listen, Dave, senior, wait till we get to 100%. So I'm very, very excited because, you know, my career, for the most part, I've just pissed it over the wall, you know. You think you're going to be young forever, don't you? I thought I was going to be young forever. And I'm 28 now, you know, father of 2. And so I decided to just give it a go because I was just thinking, what I've done, even though people might say you don't fuck all or whatever else, what I have achieved and things I have done with what I've put in, really, honestly, is pretty fucking amazing, really, because not many people could train as little as I did and get where I got. So I think I'm really excited because the things I'm doing in the gym at the minute, like Jamie Moore did an interview. I'm not sure. I think it might have been. I'm not sure it was you guys or I fell into. David could beat anybody in the world, and I'm a firm believer of that as well. And I've got that in there as well now. Like I always thought, I'm quite good, but now, like I know I am. Like I know. So I'm really excited. It's one of them like a lip biting excitement there. Trying to hold that smiling, but I'm genuinely really excited. I want to get things cracking now.
You do look excited. It's nice to see because, as we all know, sometimes that's not always the case. Boxing as a sport itself can often break you down. One thing that I did want to ask you about, you were probably one of the fighters who I feared for or worried for, or without the distraction of the gym. It's no secret in the past that's how you get yourself into trouble. Any issues over lockdown?
No issues. No, you know, always ups and downs. You know how it is. That's just my life. And but at 20, I've got things under control. Like I said, I've got 2 kids. You know, like with Danny and Liam. Liam more so because Danny might be younger than Liam, but Danny's a little bit more sensible. He's got his head switched on. He knows what he's doing. I worry about him less. But I do think when I took Liam on, people always say to me, like, you know, I always hear people say, when you have kids, your life changes. And it might sound ridiculous because he's 23, but my life is different now because I genuinely, when I do anything, I think of him. And that might sound weird, but I think of him. I think, well, I can't do that anymore because I've got 2 kids at home. So my life is a little bit different. In the lockdown period, I enjoyed it. I went to my sister's, and when I'm at my sister, I'm held accountable. You know, you don't leave cups and bowls in places. You don't urinate in glasses and leave them by the bed. You know, you don't do stuff like that. So I was held accountable. It was like being a kid again. I was brought up very strict. So I think when I got out of the family home as a kid, I did get fat. Because as a kid, I was like, I trained every day. My dad was like a slave driver. So going back to my sister's, she made me exercise every day because she exercises. I had to train twice a day with her. I had to eat well, and when I'm at home, I'm like Danny and that. Danny won't kiss me ass. Danny will tell me how it is, but a lot of people when I'm at home will kiss me ass, and I can get away with doing things. I do things, and I get away with things. Nothing bad, but like, you know, people are there to like pat you on the back, even if you're doing wrong. You know, when I was 20 stone and not training, and people go, "It's all right, David. It's all right." Losing fights that I shouldn't have been losing, patting me on the back. "It's all right, mate. You're doing well." But there's none of that down at Danielle, so I was there for months, and I found myself coming back. You know what I mean? And I started eating better, started looking better, and then when I came home, I just carried that on, and then I started going to Jamie's, and then Jamie started saying, "I don't think you realise how good you are," and I said to him, I said, "No, I do." I said, "No, I do." I said, it's just hard because it's very hard for me to keep normal. But like I said, now, as I got older, as I got more things in my life now that I care about, because years ago I didn't really care about much, but now I do. So things are really looking up now. And I always put a little thing out there to say, you know what, because I know a lot of people doubt how good I am. They think I'm no good because they ain't got a fucking clue about boxing. They don't know what they're watching. But I always say that just so people don't moan. But I think I want to surprise a lot of people, you know. I think I boxed, when people look at my losses, I boxed Luis Ortiz after 20 fights amateur and pro. That just don't happen. Do you know what I mean? Look, if you give me any fight in the country right now, you can pick me one right now. Any fighter.
Josh Warren.
After his 20th fight, he was having a club bout in Leeds somewhere at 12 years old. I was 24, boxing the number 1 rated heavyweight in the world at Manchester Arena. And then my 19th fight with Dillian Whyte. There's no other fighter in the world of boxing, I don't believe, that was fighting that level after them many amateur and professional fighters. It just don't happen. So, and I think now I've got the experience, I've got the training team behind me. Everything's just there now, so I'm really excited. So, I take everything that people say with a pinch of salt because people that understand. So there we go.
We've spoken for a long time, both on camera and off camera, about your need to sort yourself out and sort your career out and have somebody kind of minding you. You've now got that in MTK. Just tell us a little bit about how that came about, because we've actually done one interview on this that we didn't record the sound, if you remember. So how I didn't record the sound.
No, we didn't.
Just explain to us how good it is to finally have, not that you didn't have a plan before, but it was something like that. But now you've got MTK behind you.
Well, what was happening was I think I was managed. Mick Marsden managed me on paper from 2016, but I managed myself realistically. I did all the talking to Eddie. I did all the bargaining. I did all the money. That's why I got a fuck call. So, I boxed Luis Ortiz. Everyone knows what I cleared, $9,000, whatever. I was boxing for Commonwealth titles, 12 rounds on Sky Box Office. Against Leonard Thomas clearing, 12 grand? It's fucking abysmal, really. You look at the figures other people are getting. So anyway, I kept going and going. Anyway, I boxed Lucas Brown and I got good money for that. I got really good money for that. And I thought, you know what, Eddie, that worked itself out. And I watched David Price, and I wasn't happy with what I got for David Price. I didn't sort the money out for that fight. But that's by the by. That's something that's not something that is discussing. But so anyway, when I started training proper, and I thought, right, we'll give this a go, and I firmly believe I can give it a go. I turned down the Dubois fight, and I was promised something, and that wasn't coming. And I thought, right, well, how am I going to get myself in a position to force this to happen? Because I'm taking it serious now. And in order to take it serious, I can't manage myself, because I believe I could do it for someone else, because when it comes to someone else, when it comes to myself with money, you know, like when someone says, well, I'll give you this amount of money, and you're like, I don't really want to anymore. Even though their company's worth £250 million, you're still scared about asking for extra money for somebody. That's just how I am. So I think MTK are the best around at the minute. They're everywhere, aren't they? MTK Kazakhstan going off today, I think. You know, they're everywhere. Like, it's amazing. There's opportunities to box everywhere. Matchroom, I love Matchroom boxing, the team, Eddie as well, all of them. I've got my loyalty in that is with them. I love going to their shows. I think it's great. I think they're the best able. I can box on Frank Warren shows now. You know, if ever the Dubois fight or George fight, anything like that ever came, or Nathan Gorman, anything like that came, I could go there. Top rank shows in America. So I just thought it made sense. So I just went with them, because I just think they're the best. They're the best around, and they'll get me the best. They'll get me the best deal. And already that's shown to be the case. You know, the Yuri Fiore fight was offered, and I think if I was managing myself, I would have took the offer they gave, and I would have been. Don't want to say ripped off, but I'd have made a fool. I'd have made a mug of my son again. So it's already paid off there. You know, I speak to, I think Tommy Stoker, I speak to a lot. Very good, he's very good with me. So I think that will turn out to be one of the best moves I've ever made.
You've got MTK sorted, you've got Jamie Moore sorted. They're two things that I feel that you needed to sort out for a long time. That's no disrespect to Mick Marsden or indeed Darren Barker. Now those are in place, there's nobody to blame but yourself. Yep. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, you know, if I'm not... The thing is, yeah, I can do all the boxing, yeah. I'm pretty strong. I can punch and all that. Like, I think all of it's there. Like all the attributes are there for me to be a British champion. I believe at least. But if I'm not good enough, I'm not good enough. You know, there's been certain fights that I've gone into, and there's been times I've just thought I'm not good enough. You know, but I weren't fit. But if I'm as honest as the day is long. You know, like if I fight again and I'm not good enough, I'm not good enough. I believe there's no way I should be British champion. Like there's no ifs and buts about it. Any further than that, I'm not sure. I do think I can get top. I think I can be a top 10 everywhere. I'm not saying I can beat the Tyson Fury and Nancy Joshua because they're exceptional, and I'm not sure I can do. I'm not sure I can do the one thing that I believe I will need to do to get myself to the highest level. But I think ability alone, I think I can really get there. And one thing I've really got better at is negativity. It used to bother me a little bit what people thought about me. And then another conversation with my old man, he just said, you know, David, you know, people that watch boxing, he said only about 0.001% of them have a fucking clue what they're talking about. So listen to the people that you know what they're talking about, and the rest of them, they can have their opinion, take it with a pinch of salt, and just get on with the job. And that's what we're doing.
Easier said than done?
Yes and no. I think I always look at others and see how others look at them. And I see lots of people on social media give really good fighters and they say, you're shit. And I think, well, you ain't got a fucking clue. So why would I listen to people like you have an opinion on me when you're saying he's not very good, when he's fucking brilliant? Because they don't know what they're watching. Like, boxing's anyone can have an opinion. I always say, everyone's very welcome. You say I'm shit, whatever, that's fine. Anyone can have an opinion. But someone said to me the other day about Adam Smith, always negative about it. It was a question on my Instagram. And I said, yeah, he can have his opinion. I said, don't mean that he don't like me as a fella. I quite like him as a fella. But his opinion on boxing holds zero weight to me. And there's millions of other opinions that hold no weight. Well, they're welcome to him. So, I'm 28 now, so who gives a fuck, really? I've been in boxing in the limelight for a few years now, like, and my skin's pretty thick at this point, so it is what it is.
Yeah, I think you've seen the good, the bad, and the ugly in your time in the sport. Moving on, Jamie Moore. As I mentioned, the fact that you're now with Jamie Moore. Seems like everybody I speak to who goes to Jamie Moore's gym, they always come out with they always reference the mood in the gym, the fact that it's a bouncing gym. You've got a lot of fighters, varying different levels. How have you found slotting in there with your Carl Framptons, your Akib Fiazes, your Jack Cattralls, etc.?
Well, I like Jamie Moore. I always did. You know, everyone likes Jamie Moore, don't they? So when I went, I'm a fan. I'm a fan of Jamie Moore. You know, and I think he's a good coach. Well, why I went there in the first place, I wanted to work with Jamie for a long time, but I had a lot of loyalty to Mick Mars, and I even turned down Adam Booth to stay with Mick. That's how strong mine and Mick's friendship was. I should have gone with Adam Booth. You know, I should have done. That was another mistake that I made. But my loyalty stayed there. But so I wanted to go with Jamie loads of times. He came one time, and I played Carl at table tennis, and I should have gone with Jamie. Then it was after the Webb fight. I should have gone then. But I went to watch Joshua Ruiz in Madison Square Garden. Tommy Coyle was on, and I remember him pulling Tommy Coyle out, and he pulled him out way earlier than I think anyone else would have done. And from that point on, I was working with Darren then, and I thought I was going to beat David Price, then I was going to beat Povetkin, then I was going to beat Joshua. So I wasn't really thinking about a new trainer at the time. But I thought, if I ever do need a new trainer, Jamie Moore's the man. Or, you know, at the time, Danny ever needs a different coach if I'm not going to be around, that's the man that you wanted to go to, because he cares. He's got compassion. He's just a good bloke, isn't he? Like, I enjoy training there. People talk about the bouncy gym, and people think I'm a bit of a character. I don't want to have a laugh at the gym. I don't go to laugh at the gym. I go to train. Jamie's a very good coach. He thinks. When I think about trainers, I like a trainer with a bit of thought. You know, I don't want to get fit at the gym. I'll get fit when I go for a run. When I go to the gym, I'd like to learn something new. And Jamie thinks as a boxer, a lot of people a lot of people, again, who don't really appreciate boxing, just thought he was a bit of a slugger. He was really smart. He was a smart fighter as well. He came forward and he was tough and the rest of it, but he was smart. So Nigel Travis as well. Nigel's good. I enjoyed the pads with Nigel, and I don't. The gym's not. It's not buzzing and bouncing. Everyone graphs. Carl Frampton is my favourite fighter, so I love seeing Carl in the gym. And I never ever. I don't really say much to him. I've got right, Carl, keep my head down. So I get a bit nervous around him because he's my favourite fighter. Martin Murray makes me nervous. Jack Catchell's a really good fighter, so I enjoy being around them because I can learn off them, you know. So it's amazing for that. But more than anything else, the reason why I picked Jamie is because I believe there'll be a time again in my career where I probably will need an arm around me in a fight because I'm that kind of man, you know, like the prize fight. I think Jamie. Well, I'm not going to say what I was going to say, but I think Jamie's the right coach for me because I think a lot of fighters can be too brave for their own good, and I think I'm very guilty of that.
Not to prod at what you may or may not have been saying, but do you feel that potentially the prize fight went on a little bit too long in hindsight? And that is obviously no slight against Darren Barker.
Not at all. Me and Darren are great friends, and we always was, and we always will be. He's a great bloke. I think the prize fight was difficult because no one knew what happened, and I didn't even know what happened until the medical report after. It was impossible to know. I told you what actually happened is I got hit with a shot, and I had 2 concussions on my spine. You can't know that. That was shutting my body down, and every round was going by, and I was feeling lethargic and sluggish. Till the point where at the end of the 10th round, I can hardly see, and I can hardly lift my arms, and I'm thinking, what the fuck is going on? Because training didn't go massively well, but I boxed Bracamonte. We were doing an ounce of training, and I could still lift my arms up and see in that after 7 rounds. So I knew something was wrong, but the prize fight, in hindsight, of course, I wish he'd knocked me spark out in the second with that shot and it'd all been over, but he didn't. And I just and I knew something was wrong after 3 or 4 rounds because I just thought, why am I feeling like this? So for 6 rounds, I felt like I was underwater. I looked like I punched underwater as well. But I really thought, I'm going to get this bastard in a minute. I just thought he was going to stop. And but after 10 rounds, I was in the corner. I can just remember thinking, like, what the fuck is going on? I thought I didn't think I would. Did I think I would? I don't know what I thought. I know I wasn't a very well man anyway. That's all I know. It was awful, but it was. No one was to know what was up. But when Danny boxes, if that was him in that fight, I'd pull people out all the time. There was an amateur show. Can you remember that amateur show? Oh my god, there was an amateur show. Yeah, this kid was about 13, and after a round and a half, he was getting his head punched in, to be honest. And he had about there's about 200 people, about 150 was there for him. I had to throw the towel in me. Because he was getting his head punched in, and I just thought, this is not very nice. Why would anyone want to see this? Oh my god, his man went mental. Everyone was screaming over the most hated man in there. But I pull everyone. You know, when I'm in the corner, I pull kids out all the time. As soon as I take 1 or 2 too many, I'm not about that. I don't want to see it. So, but that's through my experience. I know I've taken too many sometimes. So when you see, especially when you see kids in that, and with Danny, I was telling him, if Danny, even in his debut in a 4-rounder, if he's lost the first 3 rounds and you're not going to stop him, you're coming out some because what's the point? I'm a big believer in that. There's no medals for bravery. So yeah. Well, I love Darren Barker. There's no slight on Darren. I speak Darren all the time. When I was going to spar Povetkin, Darren was going to watch me spar and be in the corner. I trust Darren with boxing to the end, 1,000,000%. And I wish things had worked out differently, and I wish we'd have gone to win world titles because the night the Lucas Brown night was unbelievable, and I would never beat him without him. So there's no slight on him at all.
Where do we stand with regards to an opponent for you? Obviously, we saw the rumours about Niall Kennedy potentially going on the white card this weekend. Obviously, that's not happened. We've all heard that. But when can we expect you to return to the ring? There's obviously been some talk about the Daniel Dubois fight next weekend.
Yeah, Danny's going to jump in at 10 days notice, little prick. Anyway, all a load of bollocks for the most part. I hear things all the time. You know what it does irritate me? When people go, can't believe David Allen said down the Martin Bacoli fight. Stuff like that. Never offered the Bacoli fight. I was offered the Yuri Fiore fight, I spoke to MTK, and the money was just. I don't say things. I don't want to burn bridges with people, but the money just wasn't right, and it wasn't what I was told. It wasn't what it was. It wasn't. I didn't take it for whatever reason, and it's not about the money. Yeah, I don't care for the money. You're in my house now. We're not going to go around it, but you know where we are. You know there's no furniture. I don't care for money at all. But I'm not going to be made a mug of at all. No way. Not a prayer. That extra money that I felt like I should have got, get that money and do whatever you want to do with it. It ain't about the money, but I'm not going to be made a mug of. So anyway, so the Yuri Fiore fight never came off, which is fine. I think it was an hard fight. It was not a great match for me, to be honest. Of course I'd take it. I'm not bothered. I'd fight whoever, it don't matter. But anyway, and the next fight I think I was talked about was an Al Kennedy fight. And then he did an interview with Coogan, and I just said, so I messaged Ed, and I said, Ed, what's going off, mate? Like, because I don't like 2.5 weeks before seeing an interview. If you want me to fight, I need to know. Like, let me know what's going on. I need to spar. I need to prepare. This ain't 2016, mate. This ain't 2017. We're doing shit properly now. So I just messaged him. I said, Ed, what's going on, mate? And he just said, he said you could have an 8-rounder with Niall Kennedy on the 22nd. I said, all right, that's nice, Ed. I said, but is it happening? Because I need to know. Because I need to go back to Manchester with Jamie. Frampton's fighting next week. I need to spar. Let me know. Anyway, didn't hear anything for 5 days. I then messaged Jamie because he was down with Akib at the fight camp. I said, Jamie, have you heard anything, mate? He said, I just spoke to Frank Smith. You're not on the 22nd. So I thought, all right, that's fine. So that fight's not on. The Fabio Wardley thing's been mentioned. That was never going to happen on the 22nd anyway. And that's it. The Coley fight was never mentioned. Nothing else has been mentioned at all. But I always think in boxing, none of the fighters are ever scared of each other. It's just hard to make them. And people say, oh, David Allen thinks he's worth this, he's worth that. People say, well, they got beat by him, so how can I be worth that? I'm worth whatever the amount of tickets and TV viewers are sat watching me fight. That's what I'm worth. You know what I mean? I don't lose to David Price and all of a sudden I'm worth 30p a round, like Danny Murrell wants to pay me. Do you know what I mean? To box the bar, little cunt. But it comes down to people wanting to watch, and I'm in a very fortunate position where lots of people want to watch me box. I'm in a fortunate position where I was promised a certain amount of money for a fight. So that's what I'm going to wait for. That's what I'm getting ready for, because what I could do is I could sit here and I could wait for that, because I believe I was promised it and he's a man of his word and I will get that big fight. I could sit here, have the big fight, be 20 clem plus, get beat and run off with that money, but I'm not. I want that fight, I want the big one, and I'm going to win it. And I'm going to win the one after that, and the one after that. Because we're only 4 away from Joshua now.
It's also worth pointing out that about 13 months ago, we were only 2 from Joshua.
But we were though, Rob. People laughed. People said, oh my God, 2 away from Joshua. Beat Price, beat Povetkin. You're telling me I wouldn't have been a superstar at that point. You know for a fact I would have been. And I would have boxed him. So, and I will. And then when I win the next 4, beat Joshua, we'll go to an island and retire. Never see me again.
Not that bloody line again. That's probably the most infamous line that you've said in any interview we've done. And you've said a few. Yeah, should we clear that up now? Because people did get the wrong end of the stick. And whether or not that was my title or not, I don't know. But clear that up now for people who are watching.
You know what? It shouldn't need clearing up. People take it how they want to take it. What I said, Rob, is this. If I was him, I would go to an island and retire. If I had a tenth of his money, I'd go to Cleethorpes fucking beach and retire. Do you know what I mean? Or even an island, I'd just retire in here. I never leave the fucking house. But yeah, people. That's the problem with people. People are fucking. You know what? A lot of them are thick. The ones that aren't thick, they just want something to moan about. So, it is what it is, isn't it? Like, as I get older, my patience is wearing thin. You know, it's hard because people just want to pick at you. And when he got beat by Ruiz, and I said all them things, honest opinion, I had some of the best fighters of the last 20 years. Britain messaged me, great interview. Everything you said is correct. And it was. And everything I said in that interview, if you go back and watch it, then watch the rematch, what I said was correct. So I'm not saying I'm a guru or nothing. I'm just saying I took Danny Murrell off the streets, Yorkshire champion, 18 months. What are you saying?
Back to yourself. You could always fight Nathan Gorman on BT.
Yeah, I've seen that. But you know what annoyed me, Rob, with that? I'm going to tell you. And I know you've asked me because you know I'm going to say it. I've seen the 10 fights, yeah? Dylan Whyte, Daniel Dubois. Not going to happen. If he beats Povetkin, he's going to fight Fury or Joshua or whatever. So why is he going to fight Dubois? Then I saw Chisora or Joyce. That's not going to happen in a million years. So the other 8 fights probably could possibly happen. But the top 2, as soon as I saw them, I just switched off. But what a load of bollocks. Ain't going to happen. It just irritated me. You know what I'm like. Things irritate me. And I looked at it and I just thought, these fights never going to happen. So what's the point? Why are you doing this? Why would you put that out? They're not going to happen. Cali fight Charlie Edwards, great fight. I think it can happen. They're both at a point in their career where I think they probably need each other now. Me and Nathan Gorman. It's a big fight for me and him. The British title becomes vacant. I'll happily fight on a BT show to fight for the British title. Other fights on there, which I can't remember. What other fights on there?
The one that's getting the most attention is Boatsy Yard.
Yeah, why can't that happen? That can happen. These are the fights that can happen. But they've ruined it with the top 2 fights. Because that's all people talked about, weren't it? Everyone's like, why would Whyte watch the bar? Instead, you got to put the other fights out there. And they can't. The fight, as I said, the fight, Jenkins and Ben was a fight. So, Fury Josh will be the one that makes everything kick off. Well, why should that happen? Make Jenkins and Ben happen at fight camp, and that would have been a good start, would it not? That was one that made sense. That's one that was the board mandated. That was one that should have got the ball rolling. Do you know what I'm saying?
So, from that, reading between the lines, you're not convinced that Eddie and Frank are going to work together?
I don't know. I don't see why they shouldn't. I don't see why not. I think the fights, like Edwards U5 fight, is a really good fight, isn't it? Like, it's a good fight. Me and Nathan's a good fight. I love Nathan Gorman. But obviously it's boxing, isn't it? But I went to a right daydream then, didn't I? Love Nathan Gorman. But these are all fights that can happen and should happen. Why should they not? You know? I honestly think matching against Frank, imagine they do pay-per-view buys, wouldn't it? You got Eddie at one side of the ring with his dad. You know, you got Frank and his sons on the other side watching. Matching him against Whyte-Povetkin, it'd be brilliant. It would sell amazingly well. But the top 2 fights ruined it for me, and it's done for me now. I refuse to fight Nathan Gorman on the grounds that they did that.
They could even have like Eddie and Frank behind the steel fence that they had for H. Azora.
I'd like to watch Frank against Barry. Why not? Shut them in. No, it's an interesting dynamic in it. People just like to talk about it, you know, Rob. It's your job to talk about it. I know you agree with what I'm saying, but we both know people want to hear about it, people want to talk about it, and I guess it's good for boxing in that sense. But they ruined it with the 2 fights. It really irritated me.
You mentioned Dillian Whyte. Obviously, he's back in action this weekend against Alexander Povetkin. How do you see that fight going?
Well, that was going to spar Povetkin. I think Dillian Whyte wins on points. I think that's. I'm pretty confident with that selection. They're both very tough. First of all, I think Povetkin isn't as good as he was. Is he? He's not as good as he once was. Still good though. Beat you with Fury pretty comfortably. Michael Hunter for me is a top 10 heavyweight. Like Michael Hunter's really good. He's shit out to be honest. I won't box him. He moves well. He's agile. He's a bit small. He can still punch. He's tough. He's really good. So I think Povetkin's still a top 10 heavyweight, isn't he? So it is a good fight. To be honest, it is a good fight. I just think at this stage of his career, I think he'll be close early on. Povetkin was beating Joshua for the first 6 rounds. So I expect him, after 6, it to be a really close fight. Maybe Povetkin will be in front. I just think Dillian Whyte over from 7 to 12 will take over. He's got a good jab. He's got a very good jab. And I think he'll control the second half of the fight with his jab, with Povetkin slowing down. But I don't think he'll take Povetkin out. He's very tough, very hard man. So I'll go for Dillian Whyte on points.
It's unbelievable to think that Alexander Povetkin won gold medal in Athens.
2004. He's 41 years old. You know, Povetkin was lucky I hadn't bad now with Price, because I'd have finished him. I'd have done him. Career would have been over. No, Povetkin's one of my favourite heavyweights of the last 10 years. I think the last 15 years. Been a great fighter. He's only 6 foot, isn't he? He's really good. But at the same time, big fan of him as a boxer. But you know, so, it's good though. It's a good fight. Do you want me to go through the cards here? Because I will.
No, because we're going to do that at a separate date that we've got planned in for the next couple of weeks. So we won't talk about any of the rest of Fight Camp. What we can talk about is where the winner goes next from Dillian Whyte versus Alexander Povetkin. It seems to be kind of sorted, set in stone. There's an interim title, a diamond title. The winner fights the winner of Wilder Fury 3 if and when it happens. Dillian Whyte versus, let's say, for argument's sake, Tyson Fury. How would you expect that fight to go?
Well, I think the winner of Whyte-Povetkin, they're meant to box winner of Fury Wilder 3. When's Fury Wilder 3 going to happen?
December.
Is it, though?
Apparently December. The talk coming out of the WBC, I sat in on the whole convention last week, was that it has to be done this year.
Well, say Dillian Whyte wins and he boxes the winner, he boxes Fury. I think Fury is the best heavyweight in the world, so I think Fury wins. I think Tyson beats everybody, to be honest. For me, the fight I would like to see is Dillian Whyte Anthony Joshua rematch. I think that's the most exciting fight. You box Tyson Fury. I mean, you got to box him because he's the main man. He's got all the belts. So everyone wants to fight him, but it's just an hard man to look good against. Never mind beat. And I think Dillian Whyte Anthony Joshua would sell massively. I think it'd sell more than Fury. Why? That's the fight I'd like to see. I'm not confident Wilder Fury 3 happens this year, to be honest, for numerous reasons. I'm not confident it happens. People have Joshua's going to happen at some point as well, isn't it? It's been a shit year, isn't it? All around, really. Then it's interesting what Usyk does. Usyk Chisora, obviously, Usyk should win that, I think, in my opinion. I mean, it's not a formality, obviously, but I'm confident that he will. Where does he fit in the picture? I'd like to see Usyk Fury Joshua Whyte. That's what I would like to see. Love to see Usyk Fury. It'd be fantastic. No?
Well, no, I'd like to see the fight. I'm just trying to work out in my head how it would work with the current mandatory situations, and the answer is it wouldn't.
I don't give a fuck for mandatory.
Yes, but I have to think about those things.
I just want to see it. They're the fights we don't live in a perfect world, do we? I don't. Well, my opinion means fuck all. So, but I just think I want to see Joshua Whyte. That's the fight I want to see, or Joshua Fury. They're the two biggest heavyweight fights that I want to see. They're the two that excite me most.
You see a different fight between Joshua and Whyte the second time around?
Yeah, I think they're both different fighters now. I think Dillian Whyte is the most improved heavyweight of the last 5 years. You're looking at when he watched Joshua to now, different fighter. But I think Joshua, by the same thing, has improved immeasurably also. So I'd be intrigued. The build-up would be fun. The fight would be exciting. I don't think Fury Whyte would be an exciting fight. But I think Joshua Whyte would be. So that's what I'd prefer to see that. But as you know, you're the mandatory man. You tell me if it can happen or not, 'cause I don't know.
For Fury to box Usyk, off the top of my head, he would have to not fight Whyte if Whyte beats Povetkin. Joshua would have to beat Pulev and then not fight Usyk in the WBO mandatory. And then Fury could then box Usyk for the vacant WBO title.
Yeah, I like that, yeah. That's what'll happen.
Oh, I'll make it happen.
Nice one, thank you.
Dave Allen, always a pleasure. Thanks very much for speaking to Boxing Social. Stay tuned for some exciting stuff between me and Mr. Allen coming up in a few weeks. Always a pleasure. I'm going to use this opportunity. It has been a while, and I feel guilty for slapping your hands off the microphone. Going to give you the microphone to address what are they called? The White Rhino. They were the White Rhinoettes, but it's discriminatory. You have to include everybody.
We're living in a mad world now,
we are living in a mad world. So I leave it to you. The final word from Mr. Dave Allen.
Hello, everyone. I don't really have anything to say because nothing's been happening. But can we take that out? Take that bit out. No, I don't have anything to say at all. As always, just want to say a big thank you to Boxing Social, Rob Tebbert. Also, a big thank you to everyone supporting. The DVD's out soon, OnlyFans out soon. Keep supporting. I don't have anything to say. I'm in a really childish mood. I'm going to hand the mic back before I say something I regret.
Yeah, so you are maturing. It's taken you 28 years and several punches to the head, but you are maturing.
Thank you very much, Rob. It means a lot. Big Up Boxing Social podcast coming next week.
You're not supposed to tell everybody.